How's it going, everybody? Today we are going over the top 100 most played commanders out of the past 2 years as far as the internet is telling me. Technically, we're only going over 100 through 90 because going over all 100 in one video is probably going to take a long time, so we're not going to do that. We're just going to go in increments of 10 for 10 easy to digest videos. Seems reasonable enough. So today I'm going to be giving you my unreasonable, probably unprecedented, and unasked for opinions on these commanders. Now, one tiny thing to keep in mind, I guess, is that by the time this video gets, scripted, edited, recorded, posted, all that, the top 100 commanders are probably going to have all changed at least a little bit. Atrax is probably going to be number one because everybody loves Atraxa, but the list will have shifted. So I'm going to leave some screenshots of when I mark down all the commanders on this list, and then that's what I'm going to be going by accordingly. I don't think places are going to have swapped so stupidly much, but they might have moved a couple spaces. So, just roll with it, I guess. But without further ado, let's get into it. So at number 100 is Rafine, Scheming Seer, and I'll be honest, I don't like this guy for really no reason at all. He just kind of rubs me the wrong way. He is Esper for a 1/4 Sphinx Demon with flying and ward 1 because he's just that important, I guess. And whenever you attack, target attacking creature connives X, where X is the number of attacking creatures. And I guess he thinks he's even so important that he himself doesn't have to attack to get the trigger. I think this is a really weird commander. I don't really like it because it's just that stand-in commander for, hey, we have some new stupid mechanic and we have to have at least one legendary creature to make it, relevant. Kind of like with incubation tokens. They're like, we have to have one incubation commander or else everyone's going to forget about it. And the same thing applies to Connive because Leisure Shredder isn't legendary. And if it was, that would just be the Connive commander. The deck tech is kind of weird because it obviously rewards you for going more wide, that you can look through more of your deck, and then, whatever you're trying to do, whether you're Thorkeling or anything like that, it would just be a lot simpler. But at the same time, with discarding and putting stuff in your graveyard, you'll probably want to go for a more Reanimator theme, which isn't very much wide. It's more just quantity of the creatures you put in there. So I don't know how most people run it. I feel like it'd be kind of weird. It's probably only 100 because of the precon, and by the time this list is done, it'll probably be off the list. Though I think that list technically goes through 200, so I guess it'll still be on it. But he's okay. He's nothing special. When you put him on the table, everyone's gonna go, oh, that guy. You're also going to have to remind them of what Connive does again because they've surely forgotten. And the Connive counters, like I said, you're rewarded for going wide, but putting 1/1 counters on one singular creature promotes going tall. So I really don't know how one would run this in a way that'd be extremely effective and also fun. If you have a Rafine deck and it is extremely effective and fun, then I don't believe you. But he's alright. Next up at 99, we have Calamax the Storm Sire, as my phone has auto-corrected. Now what this big boy does is he is 1+ Temur, and whenever you cast your first instant each turn, if he's tapped, you copy it. And he's also a 4/4 elemental dinosaur. And honestly, the fact that he's a dinosaur brings his awesomeness factor up to a 10, and the fact that he goes infinite with one card brings it back down to an 8. It's not really his fault, but that's just kind of how the prehistoric cookie crumbles, so I don't know. I don't make the rules. They're just there. There's a lot of different ways you can run Calamax. You can run him more defensive, just have him tapped and then play counter spells or Into the Royals because they're going to be copied on your turn. Let's just get value that way and then win however you think you're going to win. You could probably boost Calamax up. You can run it more burn, just have him tapped, and then, just a whole bunch of, 2 damage here, 1 damage here, 4 damage here, which gets copied to 8, and then just have removal and protection for whatever you may need. Or you can just smash face with him, which is probably the most common way people do it, with just a little bit of defensive protection, then just swing. Hey, I'll give him +4/+4. He's tapped. He's going to be +8/+8. It's turn 5. Stuff like that, which I think is probably the most effective way and fun way because, your other options are what? What did I just say? Burn and control, and everyone hates that. Everyone loves getting hit with a dinosaur. You ask me how I want to die, it would be going back in time to get hit by a dinosaur. So I think that's probably the appropriate way to run it. You're probably surely going to have some tap-on-tap shenanigans like Hero's Follower if you're not trying to throw your dino into traffic, and stuff like that is always fun. Dramatic reversal with So if he copies it, then with that, after they all untap with the second one on the stack, you tap and do a whole bunch of other stuff. So that's also a very fun way you can run him. Sometimes that's less fun for your opponents because you're basically just doing a whole bunch of Rube Goldberg, just taps this, which on taps this, which just taps this, and they're just sitting there like, all right, come on, let's get on with your turn, because it's been 5 minutes and you've done nothing. So you can run him however you want, but no matter how you run him, you're almost assuredly going to have a good time, and probably 75% of the time your opponents are going to have a good time, which is a pretty good ratio. So if you run Calamax, you're pretty awesome, and it's a pretty awesome deck. I would run it myself if I didn't already have a Temur deck, and I don't like repeating types. Number 98, Krark. I love people who play Krark. Those are the type of people who smile at shenanigans and say fuck you to chance, and those are my type of people. I should also say what he does. Krark is a 2/2 goblin wizard who costs a red and a colorless and reads very loosely because I don't have the image, I just have what I wrote down. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, you flip a coin. If you get heads, it's copied. And if you get tails, you go fuck yourself. I'm not sure if it's actually set in stone of heads and tails or if you can choose, but that's basically the gist of it. Krark's game normally go... Krark's, that's hard. Say that 3 times fast. Krark's games normally go one of 3 ways. Either the Krark player just gets super lucky hitting all their coin flips and then whatever other things they have to boost, coin flips or get synergy off of it, and they just go off. They pop off. Nothing is stopping them because the only thing to stand in their way is Mother Luck, and Mother Luck has gave them their blessing. The other way that it ends up going is just kind of neutral. 50-50, they win some, they lose some. And then normally when games are more intense like that because they're not super ahead or super behind, it adds from some really tense, stressful moments where it's like this coin flip could determine everything. And the third way that Krark games normally go is the opposite of winning every flip. You lose every flip, you do nothing the whole game, and it's hilarious for everyone else involved. So no matter what, Krark is awesome. I love seeing people pop. I love seeing people pop off with Krark because it's so cool, because they didn't do anything to deserve it. They just flipped heads the whole time, and it's awesome. I love those types of people who'll come up with a deck and say, I have no clue if I'm going to fucking win. Those are awesome people. The deck tech is pretty simple. Just run anything that says whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, get this effect, and you're going to be fine. Put in stuff like Storm-Killed Artist to legitimately storm off, cast 5 spells, and then Grave Shot. You basically win off that from making, 15? That's not true, but about 5-6 treasures. Or what's that other one? The Goblin Shaman, that whenever you cast an instant, deal 2 damage. Specifically, you'd probably want Magecraft stuff because copying only gets affected by Magecraft. Stuff like that one shaman that I can't remember the name of only gets affected by the first cast. So find some Magecraft stuff in there, but like I said, you should be fine. Especially in mono red, you can also just have a lot of, burn spells. If you really want to be ballsy, put 10 mana into a spell. Hope you get lucky. At number 97, we have Urza Chief Artificer, Mr. Dabbot himself. He really did let himself go. He went from being one of the most powerful / terrifying / infuriating commanders to being like a Pillsbury Doughboy in a jester's outfit. Urza is 3 colorless and a Grixis for a 4/5 legendary retiree that gives your artifact creatures menace and gives you a construct at the end of your turn equal to the amount of artifacts with power and toughness you control. You get what I'm saying? He is scarily powerful. He looks like all he does is sleep and eat donuts, and sleeping is what you will be doing on this commander if you do not take him seriously. He is so stupidly scary. You don't think he would be, because his effect is just kind of okay, but it's sneakily okay. What's going to happen is they're going to cast him on about turn 4. Even though he's 6 mana, you're running artifacts, you're going to have mana. Plus he has affinity for artifacts, because who needs commander attack? So you're going to get him out by turn 4. End step, make a construct. Turn 5, end step, make a construct. Turn 7, and you're sitting there, right? He makes the first construct, whatever. He makes the second construct, okay. There's 2 constructs, whatever. Then the next turn, you're getting hit by 2 menacing 13/13s, and you're wondering what the fuck happened. That's what it's like playing with Urza. And if you're trying to go a little more combo-y rather than if you're playing tokens, you're fine. You do not have to give a single hoot about what they're doing. None of it affects you. If you're just trying to combo out, maybe you have 1 or 2 utility creatures, you are the first person they're going to be gunning for, and you will not realize it's happening until you have 3 14/14 staring in your face, and you're thinking, where did I go wrong? And that's basically what it is. Now, technically, you can just unsummon, but 1, no one plays that card, and 2, no one feels good using removal on tokens, because it's not even a card. It's just something another card made that you're using removal on. So it never feels good. So while Urza is probably not the strongest, and definitely not the strong Urza to ever be printed, he's scarily very strong. That if you let him sit and cook for a few turns, you will be regretting it. Like I said, unless you're playing tokens, you don't have to give a fuck. Maybe he'll play something to give your artifact creature, discard a wonder. I don't know, but you should be fine. Number 96, Anhelo the Painter. I don't like this guy. I don't. He is too good. Anhelo is too good, and not enough people have realized it yet. What does Anhelo do? You might be asking if you're not watching this, if it's just on in the background, which is probably more of what I want to be happening, as much as I want you looking at my pretty face. I much prefer content where I just say funny stuff, and you just laugh in the background. You don't have to pay too much attention to it, but you enjoy it anyways. Now, what does he do when I eventually find his art? So, for just Grixis, you get a 1/3 Death Toucher, so have fun sending any creature with power less than 2 somewhere else. And all he does is he gives your instants and sorceries casually to 2. It only triggers once per turn. I'm pretty sure. Anhelo's type is Vampire Assassin, but it should be changed to Cheater Asshole for how much value he gives you. I'm going to put into perspective how much value this man gives just by using a couple 2/2 zombies. Think about it this way. 2/2 zombie gives you 1 mana from a Phyrexian Altar. He gives 2/2 zombie mills someone for 2 with Altar of Dementia. In theory, 2/2 zombies can take a player out of the game if they have no blockers and they have not gained any health. Anhelo says 2/2 zombie gets you 2 expropriates. That is bonkers, and I'll tell you why. So many times when I've seen Anhelo, and it's only been a handful, but it's been a big handful, is that when I see them, it's never the combo off you think it would be, and that's not how you should play Anhelo. And people who do play Anhelo, they realize this. They realized this a long time ago, because Anhelo is not a pop-off machine. It's not. Its whole goal is to make a couple 2/2 zombies, get some ramp out, and then when you're least expecting it, when your pants are down, they're gonna ram what's that one? A Torment of Hailfire down your throat, and you're none the wiser. And you know what they're gonna say? They're gonna say, "Oh, I have a 2/2 zombie. I'll just do it again." That's what Anhelo players do, and you don't ever think of it, right? Why would you? You think, oh, it just gives the things casually too? That's pretty bad. And then when they're tapping 10 mana, you're going, oh shit, because whatever's coming to slap you in the face is just gonna bitch slap you the other way once they sack a zombie. I think Anhelo is scarily good, and every time I play it, I quake in my boots. Just a little bit, when I play against it at least. People don't realize probably how good he is, because I didn't think he was that good until a friend made a deck, cast Expropriate, did it twice, and that was all. It was only 8 mana, a zombie, and a dream. So, stop playing Anhelo. Honestly, I'm surprised he's only number 95. But the other commanders are also pretty good, so let's get into it with number 95, Turgid. I actually like Turgid, and I feel like that is an unpopular opinion besides Turgid players themselves, but I actually like Turgid because what normally ends up happening when I've played against Turgid decks is that the person who plays Turgid, while in theory is really scary because she's so powerful, just has their commander immediately countered or killed, and then they're just left to use whatever sack and discard spells they have vengefully on the people who did it to them, which is never me. So it pretty much always works out. Someone is always the first to kill or counter it, and they're always the main person to get the wrath, and I just sit there doing nothing. And anytime she has stuck, I've kind of just gotten lucky with having a lot of tokens to sack and instants and sorceries to pitch, so it hasn't really been too bad. But I get why people don't like her, and I'm going to read what she does because I haven't done that yet. So what Turgid does is she is 3 and 2 black for a 4/5, I believe. 4/5 commander with menace, and whenever an opponent discards a permanent or sacks a permanent, I don't know why I didn't write that down, she gets it. And if you can believe it, most people don't like having their cards stolen. I'm not one of those people, mainly because I play a Steal People's Stuff deck, and it'd probably be pretty hypocritical for me to be like, don't take my thing! But I'm going to take your thing. I understand, though, why commander players in particular are pretty particular with their cards, because it's more of a chauvinistic format where you just kind of want to show off, your entire deck, normally like, oh, I want to bling it out, I want to get all foil, stuff like that, and that's perfectly cool. I have a couple decks where I have them themed, I'm like, I want all of these to be some anime art type. I'll find proxies, I'll find whatever, and that's pretty neat. Or you'll just go buy the more expensive version of the cards. You're like, I want every single one of these cards to be the alternate art or the mystical archive art or whatever. So when someone takes that, it just tweaks a little thing inside you. Your eyes start twitching just a little bit, but enough for you to not like trigger it. Again, I remember one time, one of my friends had just bought Goldspan Dragon. This is back when it was still like $30 because they hadn't reprinted it, except for in the list. I played with their Goldspan Dragon before they ever did because they put it in a deck and I got off the top of their library. And my ear really itches, but I don't want to itch it on camera, so we're gonna... When you see this cut, you'll know why. Number 94, Ramos. Ramos does not look like fun. I'll be honest, he does not look like fun. What, I'll put 1 counter, I'll cast another spell, I'll put 3 counters, I'll cast a 4th spell, put 2 more counters, I'll remove 5 counters to add 10 mana and extend my turn by 10 minutes. That does not seem like fun, if I'm being honest, but that's just me. So, while I could talk about Ramos, I've never played against him once. I don't know anyone who has a Ramos deck, which is why it's surprising that it's number 94. Hopefully by the time this list comes out, it won't be, but I'm sure there's fun ways you could run Ramos, but revolving your whole deck around just like building up mana and then using mana for later, it just seems like not fun. And I don't want to talk about it. So 93, here we come. And 93 is Ikra Shidiqi. She's as fun to say as she is to play. Now, she is one of the least popular partner commanders, which honestly is probably why I like her a lot more than the other ones. Her ability is good, but it's not busted by any means. So what she is, she's a 3/7 menacing wizard naga, whatever that is, that says whenever one of your creatures deal combat damage to a player, you gain life equal to the toughness. I don't know what partner you would run with this, but as long as it's not Thrasios, it don't really matter to me. I guess you can run Jessica to get triple damage, but then again, that doesn't apply to toughness. I don't know, don't listen to me. Point is, find a commander, run it, use it. I think she is very fun. She looks very fun. I haven't played against one that's been using Ikra Shidiqi because if you're going to make partners, you're going to go for Thrasios, Jessica, that one Timna girl. You're going to find the best ones, and that's normally when I run across. But that's why I like Ikra Shidiqi so much, is because, one, she's so much more fun to say than Thrasios, Jessica. You have fun going Ikra Shidiqi. And like I said, her ability's not busted. It's good, but it's not busted. So you're never going to see someone slam down Ikra Shidiqi and go, time for them to combo off. You're just going to be like, oh, this is an interesting life game with some big butts. And who doesn't like a big old booty, especially on a wizard naga? Her 5 mana is probably a little too steep for what she does. Like I said, since her ability isn't crazy, I don't think she's worth 5 mana to do it. 4, maybe 3. Probably a little bit better, but I guess because she's a 3/7, that extends her mana. I don't know. But if she dies once, you're not gonna really want to play her again. And then once she dies a second time, forget about it. She is sitting in the command zone until the next game. You are not paying 9 mana for her. You're not doing it. It's not possible. No one in the history of the world has played 9 mana for her unless you have legitimately nothing else to do on your turn. And at that point, you're just hoping to get by with whatever. So while she is very good and I really like her, she's not crazy good. That's what makes me like her even more. It's a weird paradox, I guess. Number 92, Tivit. Cellular Secrets. Tivit is the very best voting commander, considering he's the only voting commander. But ironically enough, he's one of the best blink commanders, despite him being a voting commander, because his ETB ability is crazy good, and voting cards are crazy bad. So let's read what he does. For those of you who don't know, he's 3 and Esper. He has flying, because he's a Sphinx, and he has Ward 3, because why not? Whenever he ETBs or attacks, because why not, you make 2 treasure tokens and 3 clues. Technically, you can make any combination of those, depending on how your extra vote, and your other commander players vote, but let's be real, it just always ends up being 2 treasure tokens and 3 clues, so let's not even act like you might get something else. I'd actually wanted to make a Tivit deck for some time, and when I actually went to start researching to make him, I noticed that all the cards for voting are awful, just awful. There's probably 3 good ones, and I don't want to buy an expropriate. That's about it, though. The weirdest thing with Tivit, well, one, the fact that they printed him and in the same set printed no new voting cards is criminal. Don't know how they expected this not to be the case, where he's basically only ran an ETB and CDH ETB. But a lot of the voting cards that do exist are irrelevant to him. Irrelevant. Think of a card that says whenever you vote, you get tied for the most votes, or whatever's tied for the most votes or has the most votes is normally what you get, which is probably at least half of the voting cards. It's irrelevant to him, because either A, you're going to get 2 votes, and then the other 3 are probably just going to vote against you because they don't want what you want. Then you lose the vote. Or you get 2 votes, and then one other person votes your way, and then you win because you have the most votes. But even if you didn't have the additional vote that he gave you, you would still win, because as long as one person is on your side, you would win. So basically, without his additional vote, either one person is on your side and you win the vote, or no one is and you lose. And with his additional vote, either one person is on your side and you win the vote, or no one is and you lose. He's really bad for voting, which is stupid because he's a voting commander. I don't know. Maybe someone ballsy enough would want to run him as a Sphinx tribal commander. Probably wouldn't be that good, but you could do it. Oh yeah, he's also a rogue, because why not? Last on this list, we got Myrkul, Lord of Bones, and I'm actually going to look this guy up because I don't actually know what he does off the top of my head. So, what Myrkul does is he is 4 and Abzan for a legendary god, as long as your life total is less than or equal to your starting life total, which at 7 mana, you're probably going to be at half your life total, so he's just always indestructible. And whenever another non-token creature you control dies, you can exile it. If you do, create a token that's a copy of that card, except it's an enchantment, and loses all other card types. He is also a 7/5 and looks pretty cool, but he doesn't play pretty cool. What's weird about Myrkul is that what you want to do with Myrkul is, with this enchantment tribal commander, you want to try to go infinite and win without actually casting any enchantments. It's a really weird deck. He's kind of not that fun. You probably could have convinced me that this guy never existed and I would have believed you, because at the time when he came out at Baldur's Gate, Abzan commanders were just getting no love. There was probably 2 good Abzan commanders, and then he became the best of the bad. Now that we've gotten a plethora of great Abzan commanders, he's just bad now. You can run him in a certain number of ways. One of my friends has just kind of a meme deck of infinite prevent 1 combat, because I'm pretty sure if a creature where it's tap this and then you have some stipulation to untap it, give it a -1/-1 counter, if you make it an enchantment, it doesn't die by being a -1/-1 counter, so you can just infinitely make green mana, infinite do damage, stuff like that, which no one really likes when people win by that. Some people do, so you can either go meme or go annoying. You can also try to run him as a genuine enchantment commander, but at 7 mana, you're either going to have to do all of your synergy before he comes out and just hope no one disrupts it, or wait for him to come out, but then at that point, the game is almost over. Not almost over, but if you're not playing your commander, it's almost over for you, probably. He's okay, but not really. I just said that to pad my speak time. If you did want to build a deck with Myrkul, I'd say just put in anything with the words Constellation, and you should be fine, and anything that goes infinite. He's kind of a weird build, because at a certain point when building him, you're met with the question of, I know what I should do and what I want to do. And normally you don't want to have to come with that split decision, because you either say, well, I can just go infinite a lot of ways and win like that, or I can try to do Constellation, whenever enchantment ETBs, but then I'm going to have a tough time because he's 7 fucking mana. So if you do have a Myrkul deck and it's pure fun enchantment ETB, hats off to you. Not actually, because my hair is whack right now, but hats off to you. I think that's pretty cool. And I'd want to play with you. And honestly, anyone I watch, anyone that has one of these decks, or I'm not actually, just anyone watching, you want to hop on Spell Table? I guess I don't know how to do Spell Table have links. I haven't played it in a long time, but you get what I mean. I want to play with you guys. I want to talk to you guys. So just comment whatever things you'd like me to talk about. If you just enjoyed my humor or anything like that, leave a like, subscribe, all that nice stuff that helps me know to keep doing this. But also comment, and that way I can get to know some of you guys and play with some of you guys. I want to play against more decks. I want to play against more people, and it helps me with my knowledge so I can keep making fun videos like this. And the more that I play with a whole lot of decks, the less and less and less I talk out of my ass. So it's a nice balancing act. But I hope all of you guys have an amazing rest of your day. If it's 11:59 p.m. that you're watching this, I hope you have an amazing rest of your minute, and God bless all of you, and peace out. That was weak. Hold on. I have really bad cotton mouth.